meeting to order. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll start with open forum as usual. Glenn, I know you wanted to talk since we had to cut out early last month, so I'll let you go first if you want.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I forgot what the 3 minutes I had figured for last month before I got kiboshed again. This month. Before any thought or approval of any ratification on the zoning ordinance, you guys, you need to have a solid sustenance plan in place and working for administration. This is you've seen it. It's quite a comprehensive, complex zoning ordinance idea or plan. I was at the open forum. I tried asking some questions. I shared them at the county board meeting, actually. I guess, to me, one of them, the first question I had asked was, have you been mandated, dictated, or regulated in any way, shape, or form from the county to go forth and do this? It's a yes or no question. It was answered. Bob answered me. His answer was yes and no. Okay, so, and then it went into well, yes and no, and that's a bunch of chatter and whatever. So I just, whatever. The second one was a statement. I said I should have raised some eyebrows when Bob said at the meeting, which a lot of you folks were here, it was not a public comment meeting, so I just sat back and listened. But when Bob made mention that even if, and I had asked him, and I said, I had asked Bob, kind of caught him a bit off guard in the statement. I said something to the effect that even if this, you ratify it or approve this, we're not going to enforce it on the Bernie Palmer property because he may beat us in court. That's according to this Couri or one of your lawyers or something, and that would jeopardize some other cases in the works, causing them to fall like a deck of cards. Now, thus, if you're ratifying this proposal as a whole, not as, so Bob Amnesia said, and he couldn't remember making the alleged statement when I asked. So I asked him, I asked again, the same thing. It was said. There was nothing to hide. Anyway, so then he backpedaled and said, oh, we didn't include that in the changes or something to that effect. That's not a direct quote. But anyway, if there's something in your zoning ordinance that's not legal, it cannot win, and you're fearful of it being beaten in the law, folks, had to raise some eyebrows. Anyway, that's my thing here for you is that thing is set up. It's basically a one-man. I get it. Jan did just as though she was told. I heard that before the, yeah, go ahead and start the timer. And it won't be 6 minutes. That was 3 minutes. It already is. But this, Arna, before that Arna meeting, or the question and answer public hearing, I listened to Bob instruct Jan, as far as you're the representative or something to do with this. Before the meeting started, he told her that you're the representative for the council or the board or whatever, and you're going to have to bring this up to me and approve it. Jan listened to myself and maybe one other commenter, and just like clockwork, she took this tally. And by the way, as far as I'm concerned, the best way I can describe the so-called survey is an intentional manipulation of information to deceive the uninformed. Okay, that's the best way I can say it. I did not partake in this, I'm not gonna partake in this, but anyway, just like clockwork, Jan comes up and says, well, the numbers have spoken, the people have spoken, this is it. Please, you guys, think with your own minds, and I would talk this to Derek too. I understand, but just due to the geriatric nature of the makeup of these, you guys, it's irresponsible not to have a sustenance plan in place. And I asked the question as far as getting on these boards. How does one get on this board? Well, fires up. Well, I was asked. Well, you ought to probably have some background in this policy that would need to be in place for sustenance planning. I'll help you out with it. We did lots of it at work. It's a job interview. This is putting our back pockets in jeopardy to have uneducated people in that position. I'm only speaking to I know the minds are made up on the other two votes. And I hope you, please, what did you think before someone tried doing their thinking for you?
Who's me thinking for me?
I said, please use the thought process. What did you think before someone else tried doing the thinking for you? And I'm kind of speaking to the choir. But please have a sustenance plan in place before ratification of any more. Understood?
Yep.
Does that make sense?
It does.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else for open forum?
Yeah, I want to say, tired of people going by my house 70 miles an hour. And I called the Department of Motor Vehicles a while back and asked them if they could please put a sign out at the end of the, town where I live. Because what if there's a child that runs out in the street after a ball or something? Somebody comes barreling down the road 60, 70 miles an hour and hits that child. Or my dogs run out there. And there was one board member that's already threatened to run over my dogs. Now, why is he on the board? He's not for the people. I don't think. And I wanted to say this a long time ago. You sued me. There was a person that moved a trailer in next to my property and brought all these old appliances and junk into my yard. And I asked him, I said, what are you doing putting stuff in my yard? I think somebody hired him because that's what you sued me for all the old appliances and junk in my yard. And a while later, someone broke into my cabin. They broke into the garage apartment, and they stole all the good stuff, and they made such a terrible mess that we had to take all the stuff outside to sort it out. And there was a couple mattresses out there, and a bunch of boxes and stuff. We were sorting things out. It was only out there a few days, but you sued me for that also. You did the wrong thing. You should have come and knocked on my door and asked me why all this stuff was in my yard, instead of suing me, taking me to court, and costing the town money. When the judge ruled in my favor that I didn't have to pay for the legal expenses, Bob Brewster said I gave a blowjob to the judge. This board needs to think about what they're doing. That's all I got to say.